Good evening. Attorney General William Barr says the FBI spied on the Trump presidential campaign. His department is looking into it. His words, spying did occur. Tonight, keeping him honest, given we already know there was a duly approved counterintelligence probe underway at the time, and there really was Russian interference in the campaign, what do those words really mean? Are they his way of signaling he's merely ensuring that all investigations are conducted properly? Or do they mean he's embracing the president's conspiracy theory about the origins of the Russia probe? The answer matters because Barr is now the top law enforcement officer in the country, and the person in that role is supposed to serve the country, not the president. He's the one who made a judgment call not to pursue an obstruction of justice case against President Trump. He's the one who summarized Robert Mueller's report in a way that has drawn allegations, reportedly from inside Mueller's own team, that he misrepresented their work. He's the one who ultimately decides what we get to see of that report and what we don't, and what Congress gets to see and what they don't. His judgment matters, and the words he chooses are a big part of it, which is why his testimony today to the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee about the origins of the Russia investigation was so striking, and why lawmakers kept going back to try and make sense of what Mr. Barr was saying. First came up when New Hampshire Democratic Senator Jeanne Shaheen asked about reports today that Attorney General Barr has a special group looking into why the FBI opened their investigation of Russian interference in the 2016 election. Now, she wanted to know why. Here's what he told her.
Well, for the same reason we're worried about foreign influence in elections, we want to make sure that during an election, I think spying on a political campaign is a big deal. It's a big deal.
Well, that word spying obviously set off some alarms, so Senator Shaheen pressed for more.
So you're not suggesting, though, that spying occurred?
I don't, I guess you could, I think there's spying did occur. Yes, I think spying did occur.
Well, let me...
But the question is whether it was predicated, adequately predicated. And I'm not suggesting it wasn't adequately predicated, but I'd need to explore that.
Well, keeping him honest, Attorney General Barr, like most attorneys general, is both a skilled lawyer and a seasoned Washington operator. As such, he chooses his words carefully. Yet the word he chose today is certainly a loaded one. Webster's definition of it is to watch secretly, usually for hostile purposes. Spying in this case, especially when coupled with his boss's characterizations of the probe, suggests impropriety or even wrongdoing, and brought on this question from Senator Jack Reed, who's a Democrat from Rhode Island.
There was the investigation by Director Mueller into the 2016 campaign and other issues. Have you any evidence that there was anything improper in those investigations?
I have no specific evidence that I would cite right now. I do have questions about it.
So this panel you're putting together is...
I'm not putting together a panel.
So you just have some interest in this. You don't have any evidence.
I have concerns about various aspects of it.
Do you believe that the investigation that Director Mueller undertook was a witch hunt or illegal, as been asserted by the president?
As I said during my confirmation, it really depends on where you're sitting. If you are somebody who is being falsely accused of something, you would tend to view the investigation as...
Well, you're sitting as the Attorney General of the United States with the constitutional responsibility, so if you could answer in that regard.
Well, I'm not going to characterize it is what it is.
It is what it is. So he refused to say whether the probe was, as President Trump has repeatedly said, a witch hunt. As for not having evidence, well, in a way that's kind of moot. We already know the FBI had launched a counterintelligence investigation. We know that certain Trump campaign figures were the subject of surveillance. We also know that their surveillance was signed off on by senior FBI and Justice Department officials. And we know that some of that surveillance was done under the aegis of warrants issued by several independent intelligence court judges. Spying may be a way of shorthanding it, but it is uncharacteristically broad for someone as lawyerly and precise as he's shown himself to be. A source familiar with his thinking tells CNN's Laura Jarrett he meant spying in the classic sense of intelligence collection, that he doesn't view the term as a pejorative, and was not using the word spy as red meat for conspiracy theorists. That said, whatever he intended, he certainly has managed to fan the flames, including with his boss and, on the other side, for other reasons with Democrats. House Speaker Pelosi today said he is going, and these are her words, off the rails. He's the Attorney General of the United States, she continued, not the Attorney General of Donald Trump. That is her conclusion tonight, and it's our open question.